Am I wrong for refusing to pay for my wife's cosmetic surgeries despite paying for my ex's while we were married? My wife and I, both 32, have been married 2 years now. My ex and I were married from 21 to 24. I paid for her cosmetic surgeries at 23 when I got a big sum of inheritance. We divorced because we fell out of love, and I met my now wife at 26. Dated her until I was 30 and then married her. My wife and I are planning on having our first and only child. I used most of my inheritance when I bought our home, and I put the rest towards an investment account that'll be our retirement money and part of the college fund for our kid, and towards an emergency account. We share finances, we both work, and we live comfortably. We are really planning for this child. My wife will take 3 years off to take care of the formative years of the baby, and I'll be the breadwinner. We will start trying next year because we want to save as much as we can for the baby's necessities. 2 days ago, she sat me down and said that she's been thinking about how having a baby might alter her body in ways she won't like. She says that she's putting all the risk into the pregnancy, body alterations, childbirth, risk of dying, while I'll be putting none. So she wants to be compensated for it. She wants me to pay out of my own pocket, not our joint account, for a few surgeries, most likely lipo and a breast lift a year after the birth. This is in case her resultant body is something she dislikes, and she said that she wants to make a contract and everything to make sure I don't back out. She repeated herself that this surgery will only be in case her resultant body is not of her liking. This is weird. Thing is, aside from the emergency fund I have and our savings for the baby, I don't have any money for that. I told her as much, and she said I could take a loan or something to pay for it. When I tried to protest, she reminded me how I paid for my ex's surgeries despite having no kids with her. I said it wasn't fair because even if she was asking 2 years before, I'll most likely not have any money since we are still saving for our kid, and I'll have to put all of our money towards the house and our care while she's a stay-at-home mom. She said I should think about it, but I said my answer was a total no, and she called me an asshole. So, am I? Oh, honestly, I think you need to be reconsidering who the mother of your child is, because she's not even pregnant yet, and she's already has this concern about her body and stuff, and I don't know, this just really gave me bad vibes. I don't think you're the asshole. This is just overall really weird. Am I wrong for telling a social worker the real reason my sister wants a foster kid? I, 28 female, have a sister who's 36. For the sake of the story, I'll just call her Jane. Jane is married to Bob, and they have 2 kids, boy and a girl. My niece and nephew are wonderful kids and no trouble at all. They fight as siblings do, but nothing big. I love them. Now, for about 2 years, I did live with my sister. It was a miserable time that really affected our relationship. She saw me as free labor, money, and babysitting. Even when I managed to get a small part-time job, she demanded I hand over nearly half my pay or get out. It was hell, as she took complete advantage of me. I moved out as soon as I could, and we have little to no contact outside of family gatherings. Now, after I moved out, she started complaining how she has no help with the kids and never gets a break. I babysit sometimes, but I have made it clear just because I'm off work doesn't mean I want an 8-hour day with my niece and nephew. Anyway, she started talking about how she wanted to foster a kid. Not a kid, but a teenager. I pressed her for more info on this, and she said she wants to adopt a teenager so she has a live-in babysitter for her kids. This is her logic. I want a kid around 16 or 17, someone who may have been in the system for a while. They can share a bedroom with your nephew. She only has a 3-bedroom house, or sleep in the garage. They can help me with housework, chores, cook, and help me with my business. She bakes and sells cookies on the side. Also, babysit the kids so me and Bob can go out sometimes or have some time alone. They'll be so grateful for a home and won't complain. I won't have to pay them at all. And when they turn 18, I can just sign up for another foster kid. A teenager will be so much easier than a little kid, and they will be grateful just to have a roof, food, siblings if they have been separated from their real ones, and clothes. What the hell? How do people think of this shit? What am I reading? I was horrified, told her it was a horrible idea, but she didn't listen to me. She went on with it anyways. About a month ago, a social worker showed up at my apartment to ask me some questions about my sister. She had put me down as a character witness or something like that. I immediately told the social worker why my sister wanted to foster a kid and how she treated me when I lived with her. The lady then thanked me. My sister called crying, saying that she wouldn't be considered for any adoptions or fosters. The social worker told her that they thought her home and her weren't a good fit. She asked if I said anything, and I told the truth. She went off on me, hung up, and we haven't spoken since. A couple family members are on her side. They think foster kids are effing dogs or something and would be so happy just to have a roof and would gladly do all the housework. So, am I wrong here? What? Ugh. Don't have kids if you can't take care of them. Like, it's not, you don't have to have kids if you have, what? People are fucking stupid. Am I wrong for telling my husband I'll use my maiden name for our baby if he misses the birth? So I am 37 weeks pregnant. Due to several health complications during my pregnancy, I've been told multiple times by multiple doctors that I might have to give birth next week as opposed to 2 weeks from now. Furthermore, that I may actually go into labor this weekend or any time leading up to it. Due to these same health complications, I'm having a C-section and my doctors do not want me laboring. So, should I go into labor, they are most likely pushing me through as an emergency C-section. My husband knows all of this. However, he's holding on to the 2% chance they give him that the baby could last the 2 weeks. His sister is also pregnant, 4 weeks behind me, and her baby shower is this weekend. It will be over an hour away, and that's without traffic. So weeks ago, I declined for both of us because it didn't seem like a good idea. Well, despite having a long conversation, the shower, which is 2 days away, has come up again. It turned into a fight as there are multiple reasons that should I go into labor, it's just a bad situation for him to be that far away. My husband wants to go and support his sister and see his family, and says I'm keeping him on a short leash for something that probably isn't going to happen. I told him maybe he's right and nothing happens, but said should he choose to go and choose to take that risk, that should I go into labor, he would most likely miss the birth or be extremely late. And if he makes that choice, then I would give the baby my last name versus his family name. My husband says I'm being an asshole for keeping him hostage and I'm always planning for worst case, and that my thoughts are going to trigger labor more than anything. I said if he chooses not to be a part of this, should I go into labor, why should the baby bear his name when he would fail on his duty as a father? He has been silent and moody since, only talking when absolutely necessary and saying that I'm trying to take everything from him. So it got me thinking, am I wrong? Am I wrong for forcing my roommate to miss her finals exam that she spent 2 years studying for? Context: I live with a roommate and her 3-year-old child. Roommate is a 4th-year medical student and is really struggling having to balance with child, intense study workload, chores, and part-time jobs to afford rent, babysitter, and necessities. On the day of the biggest exam of her entire degree, her babysitter canceled last minute. She was absolutely frantic and hysterically called every one of her contacts to help. Of course, she asked me. She has asked me before to babysit, and I always give a stern no. It's not the time that I need to spend, since I'm perfectly fine with swapping around chores, but the principle that I must be responsible for the child for the duration. Example, if the child hurts himself, no matter how badly, it would be on me. And I refuse to take that responsibility for something like that, so I always refuse to babysit. She begged me, and since the journey to her exam center is almost 2 hours and she needed to go now, she just said, I don't effing care, and just left the house. Frankly, I found this quite disrespectful as it is trying to push me to babysit without my consent. Right after she left, I grabbed my coat and also left. She was starting her car when she saw me and asked what I was doing. I told her I was going to watch a movie. I lied. I just refused to babysit without consent. Her eyes dropped and I could see the tears forming as she started begging me more to help her. I still explained the same thing and that it's not the time or effort but the responsibility. She told me she would sign a waiver that states I am 100% not responsible no matter what happens. I am not an expert in law and not sure if such a waiver is even legally enforceable. Even so, it still carries a responsibility risk, so I stand my ground. Eventually, she became quiet and started sobbing while hitting herself. I, as respectably as I can, asked if there's anything I can help with that does not involve babysitting the child. She told me to F off, so I did and actually went to watch a movie. It's been a few weeks and she still absolutely refuses to communicate with me. I do feel pretty bad, since I've seen for the past 2 years we've lived together that she has almost no free time, always sleeps later than me and wakes up earlier than me to cram in a little bit of extra study. I know the exam meant a lot to her and missing the exam might jeopardize her entire degree of 4 years. It sucks that her efforts for the past 2 years has gone down the drain, but that's not an excuse to cross my bottom line.